We often hear about the teachings of Satya Sai Baba. We hear about the values that have been shared with the world by the Satya Sai. But today, I would like to take his message that he gave the world sometime around 1947. There was this message. He says, this is how you become the Sai. This is how you become the Sai. Bhagwan Baba made a statement, a very powerful statement. That statement was this: first be, then do, then tell. First be, then do, then tell. The very first time I read this one-liner of Bhagwan Baba, I thought to myself, what a very powerful statement. How many different perspectives can you get from this statement? Bhagwan Baba says, first be. First be meaning, the word be also is an extension of who are you? Who are you? And the response of I am tells us what I am to be, or what the word to be is. Shakespeare says to be or not to be. Bhagwan Baba says first be. For you to become, you first have to establish who you are. And he says, when you first be, then do. When you act, he says, it is only having understood who you are, then you'll be able to act from the right perspective. And then thirdly, when you know who you are, and then you act accordingly, only then, he says, can you tell someone who you are. As a matter of fact, my interpretation of the statement is, once you understand who you are, and you act accordingly, there's no need to even tell. Because your life, your behavior becomes your message. But the very first suggestion of Bhagwan Baba, he says, my children, first be, know who you are. And that's a question, a fundamental question that was asked by every religion around the world. Bhagwan Baba tells us that he is not, as in the words of Anuji, he is not here to grow a fellowship. He is not here to create a new doctrine. He is not here to replace Christianity, Islam, or Hinduism. But he is here to promote being a good human being through love. The primary word and message of the one from Satya Sai Baba, it is living your life through love. Who are you? The Prophet, the Lebanese Prophet Khalil Gibran, he was one of the most eloquent speakers in his time. As a matter of fact, you ask him anything and he would be able to poetically respond to you. So great was he. It was when he was asked, who are you? He says, that's the only time in my life I became mum, I became dumb, I could not speak. Because he says, who I am is not of this universe. Who I am is beyond form. And if I am to respond to you with words, I will not do justice. Why? Because words belong to the world of form. Who I am? Who am I? He says, I am mute. I am unable to tell you who I am, because who I am is formless, and words belong to the world of form. The great Nisargadatta Maharaj was once asked by a child, Swami, is it that saints have unconditional love and we don't? Don't you ask yourself this question? When you see, for those of us who have not been to see in person to get the darshan, meaning the sight of Satya Sai Baba in person, who would look at the videos on television, or read books and documentaries, or go on the internet and see video clips of Satya Sai Baba and other great saints around the world, you sometimes ask yourself, is it that they have unconditional love and we don't? The response that Nisargadatta Maharaj gave to this question says, no. The response is, that's all they have. Is it that they have unconditional love and I don't? Maharaj says, no. The difference between me and the Swamis and the saints and sages, he says, love is all they have. That's all. Devotees, there's a big difference between the different types of gurus. As you would have heard from all the scriptural injunctions, that there are Jagat gurus, there are gurus that will teach us mathematics and chemistry and biology. There are gurus who will sit in the Guru Mukh Sanskar and give us the mantra in the right ear, who will teach us and help us evolve with them in spiritual development. But there is the type of guru that becomes the world guru, the Jagat guru, the ultimate guru. Bhagwan Baba says, be mindful that in all the world's religion, ensure that you get a guru that will not help you to live a life in jail and in comfort. There's a beautiful story about 4 philanthropists. Philanthropist is somebody who's a do-good, somebody who always likes to do good things for other people. You know that. So one day there was this war that was happening, and typically in war, based on the rules of war, you're allowed to have prisoners of war. So one day in this prison camp, the general, having had all these prisoners held in that camp, decided he was going to ask people to come, and meaning the do-good people to come and give up their service. So one man came and he decided, wow, what's going on here? None of these prisoners have any beds to lie on. They lie on the cold floor, the hard ground. So he said to the prison sergeant, the head of the camp, he said, sir, I have a lot of extra mattresses at my home. I will bring mattresses for them to sleep up with them. Thank you. The second do-good person or philanthropist came and he looked around and he said, these guys are just having a very basic meal. They don't even have clean water. I will bring crops from my garden and clean water from my well, and I will feed them and give them, satisfy their hunger and thirst. No problem. And he did that. The third person came and he realized, oh, I need to bring clothes. These guys are wearing the same clothes all the time. I will bring some clean clothes, as many of us do. We give to different societies, homes and Red Cross Society. We give clothes. So this guy said, I will come and bring clean clothes for all the prisoners. So they will always look clean. And then the fourth guy came and he looked at what was happening. And he recognized that these guys were prisoners of war. And he left without giving them anything. But what he did do was he looked around before leaving and he saw where the keys to the prisons were. And then later on in the night, he came back, took the key and freed all the prisoners. You see, this may sound like a very simple story, but I want you to contemplate on the analogy of this story and religion. Contemplate on this message and what religion stands for today. You see, sometimes in the name of religion, we are encouraged to live a life where we suffer in comfort. And one Baba says, first, know who you are. If you identify yourself as a Hindu, you have not identified who you are. If you identify yourself as a Christian or a Muslim accordingly, and you think that's who you are, he says, you are still living in a comfortable prison. My teachings to you, Bhagwan Baba says, I would like you, as the human being, to unlock that figurative cell that you live in, that is called in the boundary of religion, and free yourself and know who you truly are. In Becoming the SAI, we're told that we should not be caught and bounded by religion. Bhagwan Baba says, know who you are beyond this world. You are beyond what is known as religion.